Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Mike and Ed's Barbecue for the Glenwood Coaches Show. I'm your host, Noah Shelton, alongside the coach of the Glenwood Gators, Ryan Nelson. Coach, congratulations on the win against Lee Scott. Finished the regular season undefeated in region play. Still got one more game this Friday against Sylacauga. Can you talk a little bit about the game last Friday night? We were off last week, had a bye week, so take a little bit of rest there. It's been a long season up to that point.
That's correct.
Can you talk a little bit about the rivalry game and the big win for the Gators?
Yeah, well, first, Noah, good to see you again.
That's right.
I missed you last week. I missed this great barbecue down here at Mike and Ed's last week also. So good to get that back. And I want to shout out the Phoenix City Police Department down here tonight.
That's right.
They're down here
Doing
eating
their
some of
job.
this barbecue. And,
That's
you know, they joined us over here at the Coaches Show. So shout out to them and all the support and everything they do for our community around here. So that's awesome. But, yeah, a great win 2 Fridays ago. And, just very happy with our football team, the way we came out. And, I really wanted to get out the gates hot and come out in the first half and almost dominate the football game. And I was just very excited from the opening kick. We pushed the ball down there. Carter, he hit it perfect for us. And we jump on that and get the ball. And we march down in about 5 or 6 plays, and we punch it in. And then we come out, we get a 3-and-out on defense, get the ball right back. Then Cam Cooper catches his second touchdown down their sideline. So, 14-0 real quick. And so exactly what I wanted to do. And very, very excited again how our defense played. We gave up one drive right there in the first quarter for them to get back to make it 14-7. But after that, we kind of just stoned them and played outstanding up front on defense. And very excited how they played. We gave up a touchdown late, but that was kind of the game was kind of already out of hand. So, again, I thought Levi Pender played another outstanding ball game. I think he was 18 for 22 for right at 248 yards, 4 touchdowns. Also had another rushing touchdown, so he counted for 5 touchdowns. I talked about Cam Cooper's 2 touchdowns. Cal Lawrence had a touchdown, so Mason McCrane had a touchdown. So another good night for us offensively. Also, and I thought just all 3 phases of the game we clicked, and we played at a very high level again. So very happy with the win. Very, very happy to be 8-0. Finished the region play undefeated, and to be where we're at right now with one regular season game left, and hopefully we can finish this thing off this week and get ready for the playoffs next week.
Being able to beat a team that has had a lot of good games against us since you've taken over Glenwood, wins and losses for us. Can you talk about what it means to you to be able to beat them handily?
Yeah, like we talked about, it is a rivalry for our school. So it is something we're part of, and anytime you play those guys, you want to win. But I was more worried about our football team. We clinched the region the week before against Dayville, so quote unquote, we really didn't have nothing to play for but pride. And that was kind of our challenge all week was, could our guys respond and come out and again play at a high level with really nothing on the line? So I was very happy to see our coaches. We had a great week of practice that week. They did a heck of a job for us, and just very excited about our kids, the way they come out, the way they handle business, and just always good to beat those guys.
While we quote unquote had nothing to play for, Lee Scott had a lot to play for.
Did.
We'll get a little bit into that a little bit later. So going into the bye week, first of the season, which the season has felt like it's gone by quick, as we just talked about, but it's been 2 months straight.
Yes, it's been a long
football.
time. Yes.
So how has the bye week helped your team rest
Well,
up?
the first and foremost, the best thing we was able to do was kind of everybody get out of the building, get away from football. So I gave everybody the weekend off, the coaches, the players, everybody. Gave them Monday off also. So we kind of you get away, you want to recharge those batteries. We got back on the field on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday just to sharpen up. So we had 3 good days in the weight room and on the field. We're not really, I don't really like to prepare a whole lot for our opponent more than we normally do. So we really just focused on ourselves, Noah. Got back to fundamentals, got back to the basics, the little things that we had to get corrected from week to week that you really can't work on because you're trying to get ready for the next opponent. So we got back to all that. Had a great week. Gave everybody the weekend off Friday and Saturday, and we were back in the building yesterday, Sunday, and preparing for Sylacauga and getting ready for our final home not playoff, but regular season game. And it means a lot to me for these seniors and for this football team to go undefeated. It's something that hasn't been done since, I think, 2020, the COVID year. So it's been, right at 4 or 5 years since it's been done here at Glenwood. But we were in the same predicament last year. And that's what I try to talk to the team about and our coaches, everything on Sunday. Yesterday's meeting was, we were in this game last year, opportunity to finish the regular season undefeated. We got beat against Chambers. So we're just trying to finish this thing off this year and be 9-0, be undefeated going into the playoffs. And then, just work our tails off and put as much effort we can into it and see where the season takes us.
Speaking of the playoffs, it's mostly filled out. Mostly. We got all 32 in 3A. Now, of course, You want to talk a little about the conundrum that we have with Beulah, Dadeville, and Lee
Yeah,
Scott?
so our region, and I'm so happy not to be in this mess.
Oh, absolutely.
For sure. But we have a three-way tie for our third and fourth seed. And, so the tiebreaker hasn't got so deep because they all three beat each other that it's going to go into their final non-region game this week, and it's going to determine whether they win, lose, and all that kind of stuff. It's going to determine the playoff seeding. So you won't know who the 3 and the 4 seed in our region until probably about 11 o'clock on Friday night.
Yeah. So with in the playoffs now, as opposed to last year, only had them win 2 games, win the championship.
Yep.
Now it's 5 in a row.
That's correct.
How do you prepare your team for such a long stretch and a long haul? Hopefully,
well,
that's the goal.
Yes, it is so different, and so I'm very lucky we had the bye week and we was able to get to it like that. So we got some time off, got some rest. Everybody can, kind of if you was banged up a little bit and we wasn't healthy, we could get healthy and all that kind of stuff. So, but it's a long haul, and I've been fortunate enough to make it to the game twice in my career. I've been in the semifinals probably 5 or 6 other times in my career. So you got to understand when you start looking at the 5 and 6, 5-week grind of it, is when you fall flat on your face. So you got to really go back what we do, and we try to do this, in the regular season too. Once we wake up next Saturday morning, we'll have an opponent, which we already do. And, we'll start preparing for them, and we're going to put every ounce of energy and all of our work into that opponent and try to win that one game. And then once we, hopefully win that game, we'll turn the page and flip the script that next Saturday and do the same thing for the second round opponent. So when you start trying to look ahead or anything like that, just my past experience is it's when you lose.
Yeah.
You got to take one game at a time, one play at a time, one quarter at a time. And it's playoff football. Anything can happen on any given Friday. So you got to be at your best every Friday and to advance to the next round.
With a longer stretch needed, is there anything you change in practice or preparation for the team?
No, not at all.
Not at all.
No, it's now we probably will do a little extra as far as just walkthroughs and things like that, and watch a little bit more film. But we don't. I don't like to change our hours. I think when you build something like we built here, it's people get accustomed. They get accustomed to the way we practice, and that's how I want it. I tell the coaches all the time, to win a state championship, you do what you do week 1 and what you're good at. And that's the teams that really go into the playoffs and they try to not be who they are and try to do something that they haven't done all year. That's the teams that really, soundly doesn't, advance and things like that. So we just try to be who we are. We have a system on both sides of the ball and special teams. And, we feel like our system is as good as anybody's. And, we want to go out and if we execute, we hopefully we give ourselves a chance to win.
Yeah. So Sylacauga on Friday before those playoffs next week. We'll come back and talk about the Aggies as they travel down to Phoenix City, or Smith Station, line's right there, to take on the Gators on senior night. You're watching the Glenwood Coaches Show, Georgia Alabama Sports Live, presented by Zaxby's, CVCC, Gordy Eye Care, Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC in Opelika. We'll be right back.
Glenn Smith Chevrolet is loaded with over 500 new and used on the lot and on the way. Check out the big Chevy Silverado 2500 HDs, discounted up to $9,000 off. And you'll love the stylish SUV that has plenty of room for the whole family. Chevy Tahoe's up to $9,000 off. Come to Glenn Smith Chevrolet in Opelika for big discounts with a fantastic selection. Or explore anytime, anywhere at glennsmith.com.
Get ready to smile.
Georgia Alabama Sports Live wants to say thank you to one of our presenting sponsors, Buffalo Rock, and their partnership with everything that we do. And without business like Buffalo Rock, we wouldn't be able to go cover softball, volleyball games, every type of high school sport you can think of, local college games, and professional. So thank you to those businesses that support us, and specifically Buffalo Rock. And next time you're watching a Georgia Alabama Sports Live broadcast after a nice long day, why not enjoy it with a nice, refreshing Sorry? The best lemon lime soda around. Thank you to Sorry and Buffalo Rock for our partnership on Georgia Alabama Sports Live.
Welcome back to the Glenwood Coaches Show here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. Back with your host, Noah Shelton, alongside the head coach of the Glenwood Gators, Ryan Nelson. So senior night on Friday night against the Sylacauga Aggies. A little bit about the Aggies. They're in 5A. They're 4-5 on the season. Doesn't look like they're going to make the playoffs. They fell to Valley, an opponent that Glenwood played against, obviously, in week 1. Fell to them 24-7, I believe. We came back and beat them 21-20. Can you talk a little bit about what you've seen from the Aggies so far on film?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of athletes, I'll tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
Coach Smelly over there is, I think, in his second or third year. He's a former college quarterback and offensive type guy. And he's done a good job with them. I think he inherited a program that didn't win a game to, I think last year, winning 2, and this year, they're right there at 4 and 5, so almost at 500. They got players. They almost got double our roster, so they're going to come over here with, over 80 players on their roster. And they've got athletes, and they've lost some tough ball games. Yeah. And offensively, get ready for them to shoot the ball around. They're going to throw it. When I say throw it, it's going to be thrown a lot. Yeah. And so they really like to throw the football. Got a really good quarterback. He's a taller type guy. They can spin it around. So they got some good athletes on the perimeter, and then defensively, they just kind of line up, all over the place. And so we're going to have to be really sound up front, identifying fronts and things like that. So we're expecting another big battle. And, anytime you play a team up, 2 classifications up, kind of like when we play Valley, we're going to have to be ready to play. And so they're going to have some good players. They got good coaching. And but more importantly, is just, hopefully we can figure out how to finish this regular season off being 9-0, and our kids can understand the challenge we got in front of us this week, and hopefully continue, like I always say every week, is continue to play football at a high level.
Won't be the final home game, but
That's right.
For these seniors on Friday night, can you talk a little bit about what they've meant to you and their role in this program?
Oh man, they about brought me in tears 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
just talking to them and everything, and they're very special to me. And we've had a few guys move in this year. But the core of our group has been with me since I got here 3 years ago. And I just, like I tell them, I've watched these kids grow up into men. And when I first got here, several of them were very just young and immature. And I've watched their bodies grow, I've watched their minds grow, and I've watched a lot of them grow into really good football players. And but most importantly, these kids, they go out here and they lay it on the line every Friday night for our school. And they know what our school means to us, and they know what a program looks like. They're very class individuals, and I can't say enough about our senior class. They meant the world to me because they just come to work every single day, and and that's why that my big goal right now as their head coach is to finish this thing off for them because they deserve it. So we hoping we can come out and again just play a really good game Friday, and we can send these seniors off on senior night on a high note, and we can kind of just put the cherry to the season on top and finish 9-0.
Yeah. Same thing with the quote-unquote maybe nothing to play for symbol you might put on this game from the outsiders at least. Right. I know you don't think about it that way, and neither do I.
Yep.
So what are your goals this week for your team?
Well, I think the big thing, Noah, is, as a coach, you always get scared when you come off bye weeks because, it's such a fine line. Do you give time off? Do you do that? Do you sit there and do you go full pads and hit on each other and stay physical and things like that? So anytime you don't play in a week in football, it's almost like, you're anxious to get back out here and play. So that's the big thing for me is just, that's like I told the kids yesterday, we just got to get our minds back going. We got to get our bodies back going. And I'm ready to see us get back out here on Friday night and just play football again. We can kind of knock some rust off early, hopefully in the game, and then just get back going. And I want us to remain hot, stay hot for the final run, the final stretch in the playoffs, because a lot of times I've seen, just in these playoffs are so long, the team that kind of catches that fire and gets hot at the right time is a team that's kind of there at the end and has a chance to hold that trophy up.
Yeah, I feel like peaking at the right time is very important, especially when it comes to getting deep into the playoffs.
That's correct.
How do you try to set your team up to do so?
Well, I think it's about playing sound, fundamental football. Like I talked about earlier, try not to be somebody you're not try to be something you ain't, but identify what you're good at, identify who we are, our identity as a football team, and go out there and just try to execute. And like I told the team today after we got done practice, my biggest challenge for everybody in our building right now, coaches included, is don't let nobody else outwork us. If we'll sit in here and put the time in, watching film, and when we're on the field, sit there and continue to work every single week and don't get bored with the process, then we're gonna give ourselves a chance to win. That's what I want, because things happen in football, things happen in the game of life, but if we get beat, I don't want anybody in our building to look back and say, man, I wish I would have, I wish I could have. I want to put every ounce of energy, every ounce of to go have fun. crowds. And, you know, as a high school athlete, what else can you ask for? And
Yeah.
because I knew when I grew up and played, I always loved it when the fans were packed out and we had a chance to go show out in front of our home fans and things like that.
Yep. Got to embrace being in the spotlight, that's
Ain't no
for sure.
doubt, for sure.
Anything else like to add, Coach?
No, I just want, you know, our crowd to show up this week. And we had a great crowd, you know, at home for Lee Scott. You know, I know it was a rival game, but please come support these kids. They put so much work in. We got a chance to be undefeated in the regular season. And I just want everybody to get on board and come support us. And when you sit there and scream that 3rd and 4th down,
That's
I
right.
need them up off their feet.
That's right.
I need them yelling because it means a lot to our players. It means a lot to our coaches when the fans get into it. And we just got to buy in and all become the same family, which we are. And our fans have done a great job this year. But just keep pulling for the kids, keep pulling for the coaches, keep pulling for our program. And hopefully we can do something special at the school this year.
Coach, thank you for your time as always every Monday here at Mike and Ed's. Great folks, great barbecue, as we always like to say every week, because it's true.
That's right.
Big game on Friday for Glenwood against Sylacauga. Senior night. We'll be there to cover it. Georgia Alabama Sports Live, as well as we'll be at Pacelli for their playoff game. Got content for you every day on the channel here for the home of the Glenwood Coaches Show and high school football in the Fountain City area on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. For the coach, Ryan Nelson, for the producer, Chris Gates, I've been your host, Noah Shelton. We'll see you back here next week for the Glenwood Coaches Show for Mike and Ed's here on Georgia Alabama Sports Live. We'll see you next week.
Football is back, and the only thing that makes it better is some delicious food from Zaxby's. They're a proud sponsor of Georgia Alabama Sports Live. And I can tell you that everyone on this team loves their chicken. Get all the favorites, such as their signature chicken sandwich, or try the new chicken finger tacos with your favorite drink. From amazing salads, wings, chicken fingers, and some of the best drinks around, there isn't a better way to enjoy our broadcast without getting some fantastic meals from Zaxby's. Check out the 2 here in Phoenix City, one off Crawford Road and the other on US 80. Thank you again to Zaxby's for sponsoring Georgia Alabama Sports Live, and make sure you call them for all your catering and tailgating needs this football season.
My name is Sergeant Jason Swells, and this is my CVCC story. Class sizes were not too large. The professors in each class had time to talk. It was almost like a one-on-one experience. One of my daughters is a student at CVCC right now. She's going through the arts program. I've got another son who's right behind her who's about to graduate school, and he's already talking about going to CV, and he's ready for it. CVCC did prepare me for my career. They made sure you knew the subject before you walked out of the class, before you took the test. They dedicated 100% of themselves to it. It was a great experience, and I could say for anybody who's deciding or thinking about going into criminal justice, CVCC got my vote all day long because they're on top of their game.